What if one quiet ritual before bed could lower your blood pressure more gently than a pill? Japan's most beloved doctor, Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara, lived past 100 and still treated patients at that age. While most people add prescriptions, he simply changed how he ended the day. No strict diets, no medical devices, just a few habits done with rhythm. In this video, we'll walk through the exact bedtime practices he used and the science that now proves why they work. One of them, you can try tonight. After 60, your blood pressure doesn't follow the same rules. It's supposed to dip at night, like a tide receding, giving your heart a chance to rest. But in many seniors, that tide never turns. And without realizing it, you wake tired, foggy, or wide-eyed at 3 a.m., wondering why your body won't let go. That's where Dr. Hinohara's evening rhythm made all the difference. He helped older adults lower blood pressure by syncing with something deeper than medication, their own biology. Let me show you how that rhythm still works today. 1. Melatonin, your blood vessel's night. Watchman. You may have heard of melatonin as a sleep hormone, but what most people don't realize is that it also acts like a night watchman for your blood vessels. You see, after age 60, your body makes far less melatonin, up to 50% less. That's like losing half the security guards who help your arteries relax at night. Without them, your blood vessels stay tense, your heart keeps working hard, and your blood pressure doesn't drop the way it should while you sleep. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. A study published in the Hypertension Journal by the American Heart Association tracked men with high blood pressure. When they took 2.5 milligrams of melatonin 1 hour before bed, their systolic pressure dropped by 6 points and diastolic by 4 in just 3 weeks. And this wasn't just a fluke. They used ambulatory monitors, which check your blood pressure while you're actually sleeping. That's the gold standard. And it proved melatonin was quietly helping the heart rest. Now, I want you to meet Rosa. She's 69, a retired teacher, and had started waking up with pounding headaches around 4:30 every morning. Her daughter, who's a nurse, suggested she try a melatonin routine, not as a sleeping pill, but as a gentle signal to her cardiovascular system. So, Rosa began taking 2.5 milligrams extended-release melatonin 1 hour before bed, with a warm cup of chamomile. Within a week, her headaches eased. By week 3, she wasn't waking up at all, and her morning blood pressure reading had dropped by nearly 8 points. She told me, "It felt like my whole body remembered how to rest again." If you've never used melatonin this way, here's what I suggest. Start with 2.5 milligrams extended release, 60 minutes before bed. Use it consistently for at least 3 weeks, and always check in with your doctor, especially if you're on blood pressure medications. Because sometimes, rest isn't just about sleep. It's about what your blood vessels are doing while you sleep. 2. GABA-rich. Tea, the dimmer switch for your heart. You've probably heard of GABA. It's often called your body's calming chemical. But for seniors, GABA does more than just help you unwind. It plays a powerful role in controlling your nighttime blood pressure. Think of GABA like a dimmer switch on your nervous system. It tells your brain, your heart, your blood vessels, it's time to settle down. But here's the challenge. After 60, your GABA receptors lose sensitivity. It's like having a dimmer that no longer responds well. So even if your body wants to relax, it can't dim the lights fully, and that keeps your heart rate and blood pressure slightly elevated, even during sleep. Now, here's where the Japanese wisdom shines through. Dr. Hinohara often recommended fermented evening drinks like mujicha, a roasted barley tea rich in natural GABA. And in modern studies like the one published by the Tokyo Institute of Nutritional Neuroscience, 2018, researchers found that certain GABA-rich foods and teas can help restore the parasympathetic nervous system, the part that helps you rest and digest. Let me tell you about Frank. He's 72, a former pilot, and had spent years waking up around 2 or 3 a.m., feeling wired with his heart racing. No caffeine, no stress, just that strange alertness in the middle of the night. He started drinking 1 warm cup of mujicha before bed, 45 minutes before sleep. No sugar, just the roasted barley and hot water. Within 10 days, Frank noticed something remarkable. He was still waking up at night, but calm, no racing heart. By week 3, he stopped waking altogether. "It's like someone finally turned down the volume inside me," he said. If mujicha's hard to find, warm miso broth is another GABA-rich bedtime ritual, deeply rooted in Japanese longevity culture. So, let me ask you this. Have you ever felt wide awake at night, for no clear reason? Your body might not be anxious. It might just be missing that GABA dimmer switch. 3. Resetting your cortisol clock with rhythm, not force. Cortisol gets a bad reputation, but your body needs it. It's your natural alertness hormone, your internal alarm clock. When it rises in the morning, it helps you wake up feeling clear and energized. But if it stays high at night, it quietly works against you. For seniors, that's exactly what often happens. After 60, your cortisol rhythm, also known as your circadian rhythm, tends to flatten out. Instead of dropping gently at bedtime, it stays elevated, like an alarm clock that rings just when you're trying to fall asleep. The result? Tossing, turning. A heart that won't settle, and blood pressure that stays higher than it should, even when your eyes are closed. But here's the hopeful part. Dr. Hinohara believed in rhythm, not restriction, and one of his evening practices is now backed by hard science. The Ohasama study, a long-term project tracking over 15,000 Japanese adults, found that those who kept a consistent bedtime, along with calming pre-sleep routines, had 8.7 millimeters of mercury lower nighttime blood pressure compared to irregular sleepers. Let's look at what that rhythm looks like in real life. Marjorie is 70. She used to go to bed at random times, sometimes 9:30, sometimes 11:15, sometimes after watching just one more episode, she'd fall asleep eventually, but wake up groggy, dizzy, and with elevated blood pressure at every checkup. Then she tried something simple. She picked a consistent bedtime, 10 p.m., and set a 9:30 wind-down alarm. Each night she brewed tea, wrote in a small journal for 10 minutes, and dimmed the lights. That was it. Within 2 weeks, her sleep was deeper. By the end of the month, her morning blood pressure dropped by nearly 10 points. Her doctor asked what medication she changed. She smiled and said, "None. I just changed the rhythm." If your nights feel scattered, your pressure might be too. Start by choosing the same bedtime every night for 2 weeks, even weekends. And before sleep, try a quiet 10-minute ritual, breathing, journaling, or just soft music. What's the last thing you do before bed? And does it help your body feel safe enough to let go? 4. Green tea. Nature's blood vessel. Repair team. Most people sip green tea for the antioxidants, but what most don't realize is that this humble leaf also speaks directly to your blood vessels. Inside every cup of green tea are natural compounds called catechins, especially one called EGCG. These catechins act like microscopic repair workers for your arteries. They reduce inflammation, increase nitric oxide, and even block the same ACE enzyme that prescription blood pressure medications target. In simple terms, green tea gently relaxes your vessels, so your heart doesn't have to push as hard. Now, let's talk data. A 2020 meta-analysis, pulling together dozens of randomized controlled trials, found that green tea consumption led to an average drop of 1.17 millimeters of mercury in systolic and 1.24 millimeters of mercury in diastolic pressure. That may sound small, but here's the kicker. The longer you drink it, the better the results, especially for adults over 65. Now let me introduce George. He's 74, a retired firefighter, used to wind down with a glass of wine most nights. Just one, he'd say. But his blood pressure stayed stubborn, hovering around 138/85, despite eating well. After reading about green tea's vascular effects, he made a small switch. 1 cup of freshly brewed green tea after dinner, every night. No sugar, no bottled versions. Just hot water and leaves. By week 4, his readings dropped to 126/78. His nurse actually checked the machine twice. And the only thing he changed? "I just swapped the wine for the leaves," he chuckled. Here's what matters. This isn't a quick fix, but it's a gentle cumulative support, one that your arteries respond to over time. So, tonight maybe try this. Boil water, steep the tea, let it cool slightly, then sip slowly, like medicine from the earth. You never know what 1 cup a night could do. 5. The bath. That hugs your circulation. Now, here's a practice that feels more like comfort than medicine. A warm bath. Not to scrub or rush, but to soak. Because what Dr. Hinohara knew, and what science now confirms, is that a simple hot bath can act like an invisible hug for your circulation. Here's how it works. When your body is submerged in warm water, your blood vessels naturally dilate. This is called passive heat therapy, and it boosts nitric oxide, relaxes vascular tension, and signals your nervous system to shift into rest mode. It's not just relaxing, it's vascular training, done gently through warmth. In a 2019 study from Kyushu University, adults who took hot baths 1:1, 0.5 hours before bed saw a significant drop in nighttime blood pressure, better sleep quality, and lower heart rate variability, especially those over 65. Let me introduce Hiroshi. He's 77 and grew up bathing every night, a tradition passed from his father. But after moving to the US, his routine faded. He started showering, staying up late, and noticed his legs felt tight at night. His doctor called it borderline hypertension. So Hiroshi went back to basics. He set aside 20 minutes, filled the tub with water at about 106 degrees Fahrenheit, and simply sat in silence. He did it 5 nights a week. No podcasts, no phone, just warm water and breath. By week 3, his legs felt lighter. His nighttime blood pressure down by 9 points. He told me, "It felt like the stress left through my skin." If you've never tried it this way, give it a chance. Make your bath part of your evening rhythm, not just hygiene, because sometimes the gentlest solutions are the ones we've forgotten. Dr. Hinohara often said, "To age well is not to fight time, but to flow with it." And that's what these 5 habits do. They don't force your blood pressure down. They invite your body back into rhythm. One gentle evening at a time. Melatonin, like a night watchman. GABA, dimming the system. Cortisol, reset by routine. Green tea, tending to the vessel walls. And the bath, that invisible hug before sleep. These are not flashy fixes, but when practiced together, they become a form of care, not just for your numbers, but for the life behind them. So tonight, take a moment, not out of fear, not to fix, but simply to slow down and let your body remember how to feel safe. Which of these habits do you already use? Or which one will you try tonight? We'd love to hear your rhythm down in the comments. And if you found peace in this video, subscribe for more doctor-backed, rhythm-restoring health tools, all grounded in science and guided by the wisdom of age. Your heart is listening.